There are 3 garden parties held each year at Buckingham Palace, and one is held at the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh. These are usually in the summer months. We ask about 8,500 people to each event, at which probably about 7,500 people actually attend.
The signal's given at 3 o'clock. Guests start streaming into the palace to enjoy the afternoon's events.
There are about 1,200 personnel across the whole royal household, and my team are the ones who deliver the operation for Her Majesty.
We've obviously pre-rehearsed where the yeomen have to get to. Once the yeomen are in position, I then, with the help of the other Sergeant Major, ask the guests to move back to the line of the yeomen.
And they'll clear an area initially on the lawn which will allow a number of people who are to be presented to be formed up on a clear space. Thereafter their job is to form the lanes, or hold to the lanes that the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh will be going down in due course. So they have a ceremonial but very practical role on the day. The Queen and the royal family will come onto the terrace shortly before 4 o'clock and make their way to the top of the terrace steps. When they get there, the Queen will pause to allow the national anthem to be played, which will formally announce the arrival of the Queen and the royal family into the gardens.
And then the Queen comes down and I take over. The gentlemen ushers have been talking to people within the crowds, and they have selected people who they think the Queen would like to meet so that she can enjoy their company and they can enjoy talking to the Queen. And it could be groups of people, it could be couples, it could be families.
The chances of people meeting the Queen, or indeed other members of the royal family, are really quite high. Certainly they will all see the Queen, and many will meet other members of the royal family. As the Queen progresses through her lane, individuals will be drawn from the flanks of the lane and brought into the centre of that lane.
And my specific role is to present them to the Queen and to give the Queen enough information about the people she's being presented to engage in conversation.
The Queen is always interested in people from the nation. She's very wise and experienced, of course, and has often got first-hand knowledge of where people have come from, and is certainly fascinated by what people do and how they contribute to the life of the nation. So yes, it is an interesting conversation, which she certainly finds fascinating.
Well, I got to meet the Queen. Absolutely brilliant. It's been a very, very memorable day, hasn't it? Very memorable day.
Never forget that.
That's right, yeah. So we can now we can simmer down now.
We met Prince Philip, and we were just stood in the queue, and we were asked if we would like to be presenters. So it was a surprise to us. We weren't expecting it. It was lovely.
We got to meet the Queen. It was a fantastic honour. I was really looking forward to it. I think Maeve was a bit petrified.
Actually, I was. I think I just lost the power of speech as she approached. But I have to say, she was absolutely gracious, charming, and extremely nice to meet.
She obviously knew a lot, both about dyslexia and also about Sierra Leone. She knew what she was talking about.
The Queen would hope to see many members of her family attend on the garden parties that she holds, and it normally is the case. We would see probably 5 or 6 members of the family supporting the Queen in her work.
I hope at the end of the day people feel that they've had a wonderful time in an extraordinary place, in the presence of Her Majesty and other members of the royal family. I just hope it's a feeling of happiness and goodwill and enjoyment.